Good morning, I'm Craig Negrelli. It's Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. It's a Middle East curveball. President Trump offers to put America right in the middle of the decades-long dispute between Israel and the Arab world when it comes to the Gaza Strip. What specifically he said about a possible American takeover and immediate reaction. And it's Kennedy by a whisker. The president's most controversial cabinet choice narrowly makes it to a full Senate vote. The close margin, and who pushed Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination through a key committee.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
President Donald Trump with a surprising proposal on the United States taking a more active role in the Middle East and insisting Palestinians be permanently resettled elsewhere. The president making those remarks after meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Tuesday at the White House. The president's comments come as Hamas says talks on a second phase of the ceasefire deal with Israel have begun, focusing on shelter, relief, and reconstruction in the devastated Palestinian enclave. Trump's remarks to take over the long-disputed area of Gaza followed a proposal that Palestinians should leave their homes, suggesting they permanently resettle elsewhere, saying they, quote, have no choice. He had previously suggested either Jordan or Egypt take them in.
I don't think people should be going back to Gaza. I think that Gaza has been very unlucky for them. They've lived like hell. They lived like you're living in hell. Gaza is not a place for people to be living. And the only reason they want to go back, and I believe this strongly, is because they have no alternative.
In his proposal for a U.S. takeover of the enclave, President Trump said the U.S. would develop the area, create thousands of jobs, and turn Gaza into, quote, something the entire Middle East can be proud of. He even suggested it would become the, quote, Riviera of the Middle East. Israel, a key U.S. ally, has long sought control of the 25-mile strip of land along the Mediterranean Sea. During yesterday's joint press conference, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu did not reject the idea.
I mentioned again tonight our three goals, and the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea, and I think it's worth paying attention to this.
Egypt, Jordan, and other American allies in the Middle East have cautioned Trump that relocating Palestinians from Gaza would threaten stability in the region, risk expanding the conflict, and undermine a decades-long push for a two-state solution. Last week, both Egypt's president and Jordan's king dismissed Donald Trump's calls to resettle Gazans in their countries. Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry issued a sharply worded reaction to Trump's proposal, saying their long call for an independent Palestinian state was, quote, a firm, steadfast, and unwavering position. Saudi Arabia has been in negotiations with the United States over a deal to diplomatically recognize Israel in exchange for a security pact in the region. The Prime Minister of Australia, another American ally, also reiterated his country's commitment to a two-state solution in Gaza. The first military flight carrying migrants to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, arrived last night. The move is part of the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration. The plane took off from El Paso, Texas, with 10 migrants, all suspected members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, on board. Guantanamo's high-security prison facility has been used to hold members of al-Qaeda since the War on Terror began in the fall of 2001. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has stated that only the worst of the worst illegal immigrants convicted of violent crimes will be housed there. The migrants will not share space with the 15 detainees left at Guantanamo Bay, including alleged September 11th mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Recently, roughly 200 Marines have been dispatched to so-called Gitmo to bolster security there, as well as help set up the infrastructure and increase the site's capacity. Defense officials say that number is expected to rise to 500 in the coming days. Authorities in Sweden now believe the attacker, who opened fire at an adult education center in Örebro, acted alone. The country's worst mass shooting left 11 people dead yesterday, including the suspected gunman, who is believed to have taken his own life. Police say 6 people are still in the hospital, 5 with gunshot wounds, and 2 remain in intensive care. They have not identified the shooter and do not yet know the motive for the shooting, but say they've ruled out anything ideological. Back here in the U.S., crews have now recovered the remains of all 67 people killed last week when an American Airlines passenger jet collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River near Washington, D.C. All but one person have been positively identified. Crews will now focus solely on clearing the wreckage. In an update yesterday afternoon, the National Transportation Safety Board said it recovered several parts of the airplane, including the right wing, part of the left wing, and substantial portions of the forward cockpit and cabin. The NTSB is leading the investigation into the crash as questions mount about what caused the midair collision. Once the plane's wreckage is removed, crews will turn their attention to the remnants of the Black Hawk. They're expected to be done with all their removal operations sometime next week. This morning, the nation is getting a new attorney general. The Senate, by a vote of 54 to 46, approved Pam Bondi to be the next head of the Justice Department. Democrat John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the only Democratic senator who joined all 53 Republicans in voting yes. Bondi is the former Attorney General of Florida. She is expected to bring sweeping changes to a department that President Trump believes was weaponized against him during the Biden administration. Now all eyes turn to the president's pick for Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. His nomination made it out of the Senate Finance Committee by a 14-13 margin, with every Democrat voting against him. Republican Senator and former physician Bill Cassidy pushed Kennedy over the top after Kennedy, who has made headlines for his activism as a lawyer and vaccine skeptic, assured the senator he would not move to eliminate the nation's childhood vaccination program, and vowed to collaborate with Cassidy to, quote, make America healthy again. Next up, a vote by the full U.S. Senate on the Kennedy nomination, which could come as early as this week. Finally this morning, the cost of eggs just keeps going up, and now it's impacting prices at one of America's favorite breakfast chains. Waffle House is adding a 50-cent per egg surcharge to its meals as the nation grapples with the largest bird flu outbreak in a decade. The chain, known for offering breakfast 24/7, says the resulting egg shortage has led to a dramatic increase in prices, which it is passing on to consumers. Right now, U.S. egg prices are more than double what they were in the summer of 2023. The average price for a dozen eggs in the United States hit $4.15 in December. Not quite as high as the $4.82 record set 2 years ago, but the Department of Agriculture says egg prices will likely jump another 20% this year. Waffle House says it will continue to monitor prices and get rid of the additional charge when it can. By the way, you can find my full report on the egg shortage and the Waffle House surcharge on our website, san.com. And here's a suggestion. I went to the grocery store on Sunday. Instead of buying a dozen because of the price, I purchased 6, and I'm still chipping away at it. Hey, those are your Unbiased Updates for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.